This paddle has a lot of power, and what surprised me is how easy it was to control that power, and that's just one of the many reasons why I keep using the Luzz Cannon. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Luzz Cannon. Now, I will give a quick disclaimer. Luzz did send me this paddle to test and review. They didn't have any opinion on my actual thoughts of the paddle. Everything's going to be my own thoughts. If anyone is interested in getting this paddle, I do have a discount code. I'm going to leave it down in the description and on the screen. It's going to be PicklePick. Use that discount code, it gets you 15% off and drops this paddle to just $92, which is a killer deal. In today's review, we're going to be going over a little bit of the construction of the paddle, how it plays, power versus control, and some things that really surprised me that I wasn't expecting from the Luzz Cannon. So first thing we're going to talk about is going to be the construction of the paddle. Really quick, I will throw up the specs of my unit so you guys are able to see that. If you want to pause the video real quick, you can. But this is a Gen 3 constructed paddle, so it means it's going to have a honeycomb polypropylene core, but a little bit unique construction. So this has a floating polypropylene core, which means it's got polypropylene in the middle, not completely attached to the handle. And then it's got a channel of foam around that polypropylene core with an EPP foam ring around that. What that's going to do is give a little bit more power, a little bit more dwell time, and also make the shots off the face a lot more consistent. Now the Cannon does only come in one shape and one thickness. It is a 16mm elongated paddle, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it takes complete advantage of the fully allowable dimensions. From other elongated paddles, I think it is just a little bit longer and a little bit wider. That could just be, placebo effect and just based off my own feel, but it definitely feels like it's got a lot more reach than some other elongateds I've played with. Now, my first impressions of the paddle, just look at this thing. It's just all blacked out, super simple and super clean. Honestly, something that I prefer in paddles. I really don't like paddles that have crazy graphics or a lot of stuff taking up the face. I think an all black look with, Pro Cannon on the side is a really, really good idea from Luzz. Just keeping it simple, honestly, attracts a lot more people than you would think. So the first thing that really surprised me just taking it out of the box was the face texture. It's super gritty. Just from the two Luzz paddles that I've had and been able to play with, Luzz just does such a good job on creating, really gritty paddles. This thing has crazy spin, and honestly, it's a lot spinnier than a lot of other paddles that I've played with. Not as much as the Inferno, but definitely up there. So I know I talked a little bit about the actual face texture, but playing with this spin on the court is insane. It's just softer shots, dinks and resets. Putting a lot of topspin on those dinks allows you to stay aggressive and really keep your opponents on their toes a lot more than, some other paddles that I've played with. With this, I was keeping, my opponents off of the line, having to make them pull back a little bit, and it was a really, really fun way to play pickleball. So now getting into more of the power. It's definitely what everyone is looking for and wanting to hear about the most. This thing delivers. It's got so much power. It's honestly one of the more powerful paddles I've played with. It isn't as powerful as the Inferno. Any Gen 3 paddle I've played with, this thing beats it hands down. Now, with the power, there is maybe going to be some type of adjustment period. Me personally, I didn't have any time needing to adjust to it. I played with this for about a week, and even within the first couple games, it felt really natural. Honestly, I played with a lot of Gen 4 paddles recently, and coming back to a Gen 3 really just made me appreciate the construction and the feel and just how good these Gen 3 paddles really can be. Now getting into more of the forgiveness and sweet spot. Now with the power paddle elongated, you might think that it's got a really small sweet spot. And honestly, out of the box, completely stock, it's got a bigger sweet spot than you might think. I do have a little bit of weight on the side. It's 6 inches of half gram per inch, so 3 grams just on each side, spread out pretty evenly, and I think with that, it just wakes the paddle up. Without weight, the paddle still performs really, really well. The sweet spot is super big, and even on mishits, hitting some shots on the side, really, it's got a lot of forgiveness for an elongated paddle. So now getting into more of the control. So it will take a second to dial in the control on this paddle for sure, but I think after a couple of games, you'll be pretty used to it. The pop off the face is pretty predictable, even with a lot of power behind the shot. Placement wasn't really an issue for me. It does have a good amount of control, but like I said, it might take just a few games, a game or two, to really get used to the power behind it and be able to actually dial it in. So now on to the feel of the paddle. I will say at first it does feel very stiff and hollow, which honestly is the classic Gen 3 feel, maybe a little bit less stiff than what I'm used to, but I actually really enjoyed the feel. Whenever I'm hitting the ball, it just felt really crisp and really nice, and it was almost like I was in a flow state. It felt really, really good when I was playing with this paddle. But after a couple of games, it does soften up just a little bit. I would say that it still stays pretty stiff and hollow, but for my personal feel, I think that that's some of the best feeling paddles and some of the ones that I prefer. So who do I think this paddle is for? Honestly, I don't think that this paddle can be categorized into a single skill level. I think that this paddle will be able to perform in any type of skill level. If you're a beginner and you're wanting to upgrade your paddle, I think this is a great option. If you're a professional player and you're wanting something that's got a lot of power and is still, have the ability to use it in tournaments, I would use this paddle. I mean, it's just, the biggest thing about it is going to be that it's very controllable, and I don't think very many people will actually struggle with using this paddle just because of how controllable the power is and how forgiving this paddle can actually be. I don't normally do this in any of my other videos, but one thing I do want to mention is just the value of this paddle. After a code, whether it's mine or someone else's, this thing is $92, and to get performance that some of these $200+ paddles have in under $100, I honestly think it's crazy, and it's honestly a no-brainer to try and pick this paddle up. So some pros and cons of this paddle. Pros, I would say that it's got a lot of power, it has a good amount of controllable power, and it doesn't have an extreme amount of pop where the ball is just flying everywhere. If you have your paddle angled just the wrong way, it's going to fly off the court. That would be some of the biggest pros that I see. It does have really good face texture as well, so it's able to put a lot of spin onto the ball. Now onto the cons. Honestly, there's no real huge drawbacks with this paddle. I think, like I said, some adjustment period might be in place whenever you first get it if you're not used to playing with power paddles or used to playing with Gen 3 paddles at all. It might take a few games or at most a day to get used to this paddle. But outside of that, I don't really have anything negative to say about this paddle. It just performs so well. So my closing thoughts on the Luzz Cannon is that it is one of the most balanced paddles that I've ever played with. It has a good amount of control. It also has a lot of power that you're able to put behind the ball, and all of that into a $92 package is absolutely insane. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of the review today. Let me know in the comments if you've ever played with the Cannon or any other Luzz paddles. Let me know what you thought of them. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.
Wow!